Hey there, YouTube family. It's Stocks with Josh, and I have an important topic to discuss with you. Is your crypto safe on an exchange? You've been asking me, should I pull my money out of BlockFi, Voyager, or even Coinbase? Well, Coinbase told us in the last month that if they go through bankruptcy, your money is their money. So this is a reasonable question for us to ask ourselves. Before we begin, please invest in that like, hit the subscribe for me and the notification bell. And remember that anything I say is not a suggestion for you to buy, sell, or hold a crypto. And I will never reach out to you in the comments section and ask you to send me money to a Telegram, WhatsApp, or Instagram. Those are scammers. Okay, family, let's look at this important article that came out by Forbes with Sam Bankman-Fried. Multiple crypto exchanges are secretly insolvent, warns Sam Bankman-Fried. Let's be clear about what insolvent means. It means they don't have any money. They don't have your money that you invested in them. They lost it. That's what insolvent means. The FTX CEO warned of third-tier exchanges that are yet to reveal their insolvency and of mining firms suffering from excessive leverage. FTX CEO Sam Bankman-Fried recently shared his thoughts on the state of the crypto market, its trajectory, and the platforms and companies within it. He claimed that there are still many remaining third-tier crypto exchanges that are insolvent but yet to be exposed. More instability to come. I think it's extremely important for us to acknowledge that we are pre-regulation on crypto, which means that it's the wild, wild west, which means that all of these investment companies, these exchanges, and these leverage groups, these hedge funds, groups that are working with crypto, they're unregulated, right? They're flying under the radar of government supervision. And we see that we've had a massive implosion in crypto, which has left a lot of retail investors very damaged, right? Losing all their money. It began with Terra Luna, right? We found out that Three Arrows Capital was heavily invested in Terra Luna. They became insolvent. They went into a court-mandated restructuring. We then found out that BlockFi and Voyager had lent them millions of dollars, leaving them in a position where they were insolvent. And all this is going on, and Sam Bankman-Fried has been surfacing in the news and coming forward as sort of the crypto Superman or the crypto savior, lending these two companies $750 million to keep them from going bankrupt, which did save a lot of people in the retail space. And so I want to comment on that for just a brief moment. You know, when I was first introduced to Sam Bankman-Fried, it was actually a video clip. I never knew who he was. It was like a little story of somebody you don't know, an introduction to this individual. And it was Sam Bankman-Fried living on a beach house with his wild hair, a t-shirt and shorts with a bunch of his, young friends. And, this guy, it said, hey, I made $30 billion in crypto arbitrage, and now I just want to spend the rest of my life doing philanthropy and giving back to the poor. And I thought, well, that's really cool. That's a nice guy. And that was my first introduction to him. And as time has gone by, as we've moved through this, bull run and now this bear winter, here's this guy, and he's really, reintroducing himself to me as a massive shark. Like, this kid is connected, he is powerful, he is wealthy, and he is rich. And the Wall Street is behind him and the media is behind him. So he's coming in and buying these companies, right? And the media is introducing him as someone who's basically coming in and saving crypto. But really, what we see is that he's bought these companies that are in distress. And, one of the statements that was made by the company was that they were interested, let me see if I can get this right. They were interested in the technology, the investors, and the counterparties, okay? I found it fascinating that in that statement, they never said they were interested in the customers. I want us just to have our eyes open and realize that Sam Bankman-Fried is not buying these companies to save crypto. He's buying them for the technology, for the investor relations that those companies had, and for the counterparties. I don't even know who the counterparties is, but this is obviously for profit. And I want to dive into some of the things that was going on with BlockFi before Sam Bankman-Fried bought them. So it was said by the Post, put out this statement. Crypto lender BlockFi is struggling to raise cash despite offering to take a steep discount on its valuation, raising the risk that it could be forced into a financial restructuring, the Post has learned. The Jersey City, New Jersey-based startup, which last fall raised $400 million in a funding round that valued the company at $5 billion, has for at least a month been trying to raise $100 million at a valuation of just $1 billion, a haircut that amounts to 80% over half a year. So this is what they're saying. They're saying that they were out begging in the street because they were afraid of going bankrupt, and that they were offering a highly reduced valuation to their company, 80% off of the price that they had just been raising capital for 6 months earlier. Well, some other interesting things have come out about BlockFi. Their financials were leaked. Now, nobody knows for sure. These financial documents that were leaked have not been verified, but it basically showed that they had lost $67 million in 2020, and they lost $221 million in 2021, combining to a $285 million loss. And what should stand out to us about that is that these guys lost, almost $300 million when Bitcoin was at its all-time high. How bad do you have to manage your business to lose $300 million when Bitcoin's at 69,000? Is it any wonder that they basically crash and burned along with some of these other companies when Bitcoin has pulled back? So, the reason why I'm bringing this up is that these guys are still in business. They're still managing a lot of your money. And I think you need to have, I can't tell you to pull your money off of these exchanges. And, I recognize that FTX has stepped in. But I think you have to realize that a lot of these individuals are the individuals who are right now still in control. And I want to just highlight a couple remarks made by Zach Prince, the CEO. He said some really great data points in here, including that we operated profitably in May. So he's boasting that they made a profit in May, but not at any time letting everybody know that these guys had lost $300 million in the last 6 months. And again, he comes out on his Twitter and says, lots of market rumors out there and he says, I can 100% confirm that we aren't being sold for $25 million. I encourage everyone to trust only details that you hear directly from BlockFi. Well, listen, whether or not the actual agreement says 25 million or 25 million plus the 250 million that Sam Bankman-Fried gave them to bail them out, it's irrelevant. I still think this guy is trying to save face, right? When he's brought this company to its knees, he's more concerned about letting everybody know that, that they didn't sell it for 25 million, right? I don't see the transparency or the humility. I mean, it would be better if he said nothing at all. And then this last comment he said, the proceeds of the credit facility, that's the loan by Sam Bankman-Fried, the $250 million, are intended to be contractually subordinate to all client balances across all account types. So what he's saying is, don't worry, guys. If we get into trouble and it's worse off than we said, your guys' money that you have invested in us as customers this is their statement, are intended to be above the money that Sam Bankman-Fried invested in us. So here's the problem I have with that. Why couldn't he say, I negotiated a deal with FTX to make sure that you guys would get paid before they got paid if this goes into bankruptcy? But instead he says, well, our intention is to do it this way. Well, you know what? I don't think that if I had, $10,000, $50,000, $100,000 on BlockFi, that I could sleep well at night knowing that his intention is to manage it that way. So I'm not, the point of this is not to just decimate BlockFi or Voyager, but it's just to sound, I guess, the reasonable alarm that everything in crypto is under the bear winter stress test. Your crypto investments, the cryptos themselves, many of them are not going to remain in the top 10, top 25, top 50. There are cryptos that are going to die this bear winter, right? Because they weren't prepared. The energy, the oxygen is just sucked out of the room. They would love to continue. They don't have the money and the funds and the momentum. People are going to quit their jobs and go over to other crypto projects, right? Exchanges are going to implode, right? People like you, there are people out there that you might know that have invested and they've lost money. They're going to quit and walk away, right? So everything is being stress tested in crypto. And that's why it's extremely important for us to position our money and to make sure that it's safe. I said to you guys before that I pull my money. I use the exchanges to buy crypto, to pull money into the space. And when I buy my crypto, I then transfer that out into the ecosystem or into a wallet. And I think that it's extremely important that, if you've got any doubts about the leadership of BlockFi or the leadership of Voyager, that you take reasonable precautions with your money, right? And so that's what I'm doing. I told you guys the other day that I transferred my money out of USDT to USDC. I had at least 3 or 4 comments that said USDT is going to be fine. And I responded and told you guys, I agree. USDT is probably going to be fine. And there are some exchanges out there that are probably going to be fine, like BlockFi. But let me ask you a question in conclusion. If you were going to move into an apartment or a house, right, and it was on fire, but there was a guy with a hose and he was hosing it down and he told you, don't worry, I'll be able to get this out. Go ahead and move in. Would you run it? Would you tell your kids, go find your bedroom, move yourselves in, get ready for bed? There's just no way that would happen. And, if the house is on fire, right, if it's under attack, it's not time to move in and position your hard-earned money. So those are my thoughts. I want you guys to be wise. I want you to see what I'm seeing. And and to make the decisions that you feel comfortable making. I want to take a quick moment and mention to you the small account challenge that we have with Verb. Verb is performing really well, right? It pulled back and it's retested its 20-day moving average and it bounced, which was perfect. I am really looking and eyeing the charts to see it make that move up to the 75 to 79 cent range. And I really believe that we're going to have the opportunity to cash out. And for many of you, you will have doubled your money from $200 to $400. If you are watching and you don't know what I'm talking about the small account challenge that I have with moomoo. In the link in the description of this video is a link to moomoo. You download that, you put in $200, and you follow along. We're moving $200 to $400. In addition to that, I'm working with Larry Jones. He does the Webull, which does fractional shares. And we have the $5 $1 million cup of coffee. We're investing incrementally weekly into blue chip, solid companies. We're going to invest in those throughout the next couple of years. And my stock picks are a little different than Larry's. I'm going to share those with you. Both of those links are in the description of this video. And both of those companies are offering ridiculous offers right now for thousands of dollars of free stock for signing up and invest and putting in $100. You have the chance of winning different stocks. You have to spin for them or you're awarded them. And they could be an Apple share or a Google share, or you're guaranteed a Lucid share. But that's what we're doing. I appreciate you guys letting me be part of your financial journey. I'm looking forward to this weekend. I'm hoping that it's going to be restful for you guys. And I've got another video coming out about top 10 cryptos that will survive the bear winter. I've been doing a ton of research on that for you guys, and I'm excited to share it with you. I look forward to seeing you all in the next video. Thanks. Have a blessed day.